President Obama heads into GOP territory today to make his pitch for extending the payroll tax cut. The president will be in Kansas trying to drum up support for a plan that would reduce Social Security payroll taxes by taxing the wealthiest Americans. To help make his point, White House staffers unveiled clocks in the briefing room that are counting down to the end of the year when the tax cuts are set to expire. The president is arguing that if Republicans oppose his plan, they will be responsible for raising taxes on millions of Americans.
As soon as this year ends, so does that tax cut. If Congress fails to renew this tax cut before then, that same family will see a tax hike of about $1,000 a year. There aren't many folks, either in the middle class or those trying to get into the middle class, who can afford to give up $1,000. Not right now.
All right, for more on this morning, we are joined by CBSNews.com senior political reporter Brian Montopoli. Thanks for being with us.
Of course.
So we heard the president there. He says, look, Republicans have made this pledge. We are not going to raise taxes. But if you don't pass this tax cut plan, then essentially you're raising those taxes on millions of Americans. So is that a fair assessment?
It is, but it's a little bit of a rhetorical trick. What the Senate Democrats put forth was a bill that would pay for this by taxing millionaires. It's a tax on income over $1 million. Well, so yes, you're cutting taxes for one group, but you're raising taxes for another group. So they would be raising taxes in a sense either way, at least in the proposal that the Democrats put forth. Now, Republicans are countering with their own proposal. There's a lot of back and forth here. It looks like this will happen, but how it happens is the open question.
Okay, so if it will happen, we've got all these different proposals. What are the sticking points?
Well, basically, Democrats say we have to pay for this by a tax on the rich. Republicans are talking about a federal pay freeze, cutting some federal workers. They say that's how we pay for it. There's also the degree to which the tax gets cut. Obama wants to extend and expand it. He wants the payroll tax cut to be bigger. Republicans want to keep it where it is. So, you know, it's the details, but I mean, this means a lot to a lot of people. I mean, as the president said, we're talking about a $1,000 tax hike if this doesn't go through.
All right, let's shift now to the race for the White House, because if you look at the latest Iowa poll numbers, Newt Gingrich actually has a sizable lead. We're looking at the percentages right now, and Mitt Romney is in third place. Is Gingrich really the clear front runner at this point?
Amazing as it may be, I think he is. I mean, look, he is up. It wasn't just this Des Moines Register poll. He was up in another poll over the weekend. He's really surging nationally, and it's astounding because myself and a lot of other people really left Gingrich for dead a while back. He was running this very unconventional campaign, and yet he seems to have sort of emerged. The polls show that he's very popular with older voters. Voters over 55 years old are really flocking to him. He's seen as sort of very intelligent and sort of knowledgeable in a way that a lot of other candidates really haven't seemed, like someone like Rick Perry, who was supposed to be sort of the anti-Romney candidate. At this point, it looks like a two-man race.
So, but how has he differentiated himself from the rest of them? I mean, we heard Herman Cain, the 999, we hear Mitt Romney, we hear Rick Perry, but what about Gingrich?
Well, it's the debates. He's been so sort of professorial in the debates, plus he's sort of the id of the Republican Party. I mean, you'll remember this is a guy who shut down the government back when he was House Speaker. What I find astounding, though, I have to say with Gingrich is he's getting support from people who really, based on his positions, you wouldn't think would be supporting him. I mean, this is a guy who backed the bank bailout. He backed cap and trade legislation. He sat on a couch with Nancy Pelosi and said, we have to do something about climate change. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. So, you know, he backed an individual mandate for health care, this thing that was supposed to, you know, is the big problem with Mitt Romney. So for whatever reason, this stuff doesn't stick to Gingrich in the way it sticks to everyone else. And I think it's because, you know, he can really take shots at President Obama, and it's very satisfying for people in a lot of ways, and I think they're able to ignore some stuff with Gingrich that they, for whatever reason, get caught up with Romney.
Well, he is actually meeting with Donald Trump here in New York. Has Trump become this new kingmaker? What is going on with the Trump influence here?
It's amazing. I mean, you'll recall in what people once called the silly season, Donald Trump was actually at the top of the polls for Republican presidential nominees. Now, that was maybe, 4 front runners ago. We had Michelle Bachmann, we had Herman Cain, a bunch of other folks. But look, I mean, for whatever reason, Trump has a lot of influence. He's moderating a debate. A lot of the base Republican voters like Trump. They think he stands for sort of, you know, what capitalism should be, and sort of not being a, I guess, not apologizing for America and sort of standing strong, and they like what he stands for.
You mentioned he's moderating a debate. Are you surprised at that? Because a lot of Republicans, in fact, just are not happy with the fact that he is involved in this debate.
Well, and that includes, I mean, 2 Republicans who are running for president, John Huntsman and Ron Paul, are not participating, and they say, look, this is beneath the office. I mean, this is a guy, they say he's a reality television star. What is he doing moderating a debate? And I think that there's some folks who agree with that. I think the Republican Party right now has a bit of a identity crisis. You've got your serious folks in the party, and then you've got some of the sort of less serious folks, and I think Donald Trump sort of falls into that less serious category in a lot of people's minds, and so the serious folks look at Trump doing this debate and say, you know, what's going on here?
Let's quickly get to Herman Cain. He's suspended his campaign. Where do his supporters go now, and how important is his endorsement of whoever he decides to put his backing behind?
I don't think the endorsement is a huge deal, but I would say his supporters, those that are left, I mean, by the time he got out, he only had 8% in Iowa, but those that are left, you got to think they go to Gingrich. He is sort of the anti-Romney consensus candidate at this point. Though I would caution, we've gone through 5 front runners in the anti-Romney sort of stakes now, so anything could happen. We've still got 1 more month, and, you know, maybe Rick Santorum will give it a...
Hey, it's getting kind of exciting, though. Things are changing.
It's exciting.
You can say that again. All right, Brian Montopoli, thanks so much for being with us.
Thanks.
We appreciate it.